Thank you, buddy. Would you please stand and join us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we're just honored and privileged to be here in health and in well-being, and we just pray for the council and the governing body, Lord, that you will just instill wisdom in their hearts, in their minds, and their souls, Lord, that they will lead this community. Amen.
Thank you. All right, we'll call this meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. Roll call.
Councilor Reynolds? Here. Sorry. Councilor Vasquez?
Here.
Councilor Padilla?
Here.
Councilor Lucero?
Here.
And Mayor Hicks?
Present. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got a big agenda tonight. Let's try to get things up. Approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda for today.
Second. Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Yes.
Vasquez, Councilor Patel? Yes. Councilor Padilla? Yes. Citizens to address. Let's see here. You guys at the wastewater treatment plant, you want to do that when it comes up, Brian? Yes. Yes. Right? Okay. Let's see who we got here. J.D. Simmons, which one's he?
I'm not speaking though, I just signed
You're
it.
not speaking, okay? That's, I just like to put a face to a name. And I hadn't seen yours there. Mitch Hogsett?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clay Woodward?
Right here, sir.
Okay. And you three are the only ones. Miss Anderson,
Yeah.
step up, please. Tell us what's on your mind.
Someone just said to sign the paper, I thought it was just roll call.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yes,
No
I just-
problem, okay. Richard and police? That just took 30, how do you say, all those people that weren't gonna talk now, that just took 30 minutes off the meeting, we're good.
I'm a man of few words here, but on behalf of all the veterans in Cibola County, surrounding areas, we do a lot of things for the veterans, and we also make, Police's mom makes these lap quilts for the veterans, and we just wanted to present Ms. Reynolds with one because she's a veteran, and Mr. Padilla, just a little thank you from all the veterans in the county. And they're all handmade by Police's mom.
Yes, Cindy, we need to take a picture. Yes, we do, Cindy. We need to take a
I don't like
picture.
those photo ops. People get crazy minded.
Give them your wild look.
And for Fred over there also, I know Fred wants his picture made.
I got mine last year at the Memorial Day.
Yes.
At the Memorial Day speech there.
Smile.
Did you wash them and
wash them.
delicate? Yeah.
And that's just a little, we appreciate y'all and thank you so much for letting us do that.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
guys very much. Okay, let's get on to the discussion action items. Public comment discussion of charter compliance. Once again, it's up to you guys. Whenever you're ready to do this, we'll do this.
I'm ready.
Make a motion. To take out term limits, any reference to term limits in our charter.
Oh, we don't have to have it on the agenda?
No.
We can just.
It's on the agenda, it's right there. Public comment discussion charter compliance. It's on the agenda, we're good.
We're good? We don't- Well, I move we take out the term limits in the City of Grants charter.
Second. Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Councilor Lucero? Councilor Padilla?
Yes.
There it is.
So I think the citizens have to vote on that.
I don't think so, because we represent the citizens. And they're
Our
not-
charter is by the citizens, so I.
We'll check with the attorneys, we'll check with the attorneys tonight, or tomorrow, and if we have to, we'll do that at the next election. but I don't believe we do. I believe through, according to what Mr. Puginelli told me, we could do it here because it's basically got the footnote that's on there that says it's unconstitutional anyway. Okay, so all we're doing is going with what's in there. Okay, that'll work there. Approval of the regular city council meeting minutes from May 14th. Did anybody see any corrections? Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to.
Make a motion to approve the regular city council meeting from May 14th to 2018.
Second.
I second.
Council Vasquez?
Yes.
Council Lucero?
Yes.
Council Padilla?
Yes.
Council Reynolds?
Yes.
Cool. Next one, number 3, engineering services for the draining project at the corner of Jefferson and Washington Streets. And that is around Futures. Stop the future, but letting around Futures. Okay?
Test.
Smile, Donald. Come on, baby. Here it
Okay,
is.
so this is for the Jefferson, Washington flood prevention drainage project. We had 5 engineering firms respond to an RFP that was published in the New York Yankees have caught me off guard. That was published in the Cibola Citizen and the Albuquerque Journal. So 5 engineering firms responded. We evaluated all 5, and the three high scorers were chosen for interview. We interviewed 3 firms, and ultimately Wilson and Company scored the highest during the interviews. So we've started the negotiation of scope and price, and before you is the price for the first phase, which in the first phase it includes a plan to address the problem there, and a mini drainage master plan, because there's a lot more to it than just the little flooding at Jefferson. Well, not the little flooding. I'm not belittling the flooding there, but we have drainage issues all
pretty
over.
little.
Yeah.
This year's been pretty little.
There's a lot of water that comes off the mountain from the high school behind that. The water goes toward that way. So anyway, in front of you is the price, and I'm asking for your approval. And it is my recommendation that you guys approve this contract.
Questions?
So Donald, refresh my memory, we did get a loan amount from,
Yes.
for this
Yes.
project?
Yes, we, CWSRF 078, I know we don't like to throw out the numbers like that, but that's how I memorize them. And it's a $760,000 loan from NMED for this particular project. However, we are going after some other funds, including from the Rio San Jose District, to assist us on this project.
And the Rio San Jose did seem kind of positive towards you guys when we met with them, correct?
Yes, yes.
Anything else? Questions? Sydney? Manny? Rick?
Yeah, I noticed on the Wilson Company, it's a small item where they were charging mileage for 54 cents. And then on the survey, they were charging 95 cents. What's the difference on that?
Mario?
What's up with that? It's a small portion, but
Sure.
just want to know what the difference is.
Mayor and council, good evening, by the way. The 95 cents per mile for the trucks on survey is standard. On the engineering, we charge the federal rate. We have no problem whatsoever if this council wants it to be consistent to go with the federal rate consistently. We would take that comment today, and then we would adjust the contract and just ask for approval contingent on the mile adjustment.
So there's a different rate for a truck
There is.
federally?
No, trucks for us as a business, we price them out, I think it's 95 cents a mile, primarily because those are larger vehicles, they consume a lot more gas, and they're 4x4.
And that's
We're-
standard?
Yes, it is for us,
Pretty good.
yes.
Is that what we go by? Like we go by their
You're the one approving this contract. You go by what you want to go by, Rick.
Well, there's a discrepancy.
Well, there you go. So if you want them to follow the federal mileage, then you make the motion that they follow the federal mileage. There it is. It's that simple. You make the motion, when we make the motion, you make the motion to change it with that federal mileage in there, Rick. And we'll go from there.
I make a motion to change that to the 54 cents a mile.
You got it? Second, okay. Council Reynolds?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now, to approve the contract for $101,000, whatever it is, minus the 95 cent deal, we need to go ahead and approve that contract. Okay, so make a motion for my contract.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the 101-930-07.
Minus that 95-cent mileage change.
95 cents.
Second, okay, it's Councilor Reynolds,
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez, Councilor Lucero,
Yes.
Councilor Padilla. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Next. Resolution for the drainage channel. Second Street.
Yes, another flood prevention project. We actually, this is it's not often you ask for some money and they give you an extra amount. That's what happened in this case. I guess the state was a recipient of some extra dollars for some road projects or a variety of projects from the feds. And anyway, we requested, I believe, like 280. We ended up getting like 360 for this flood prevention project, and that's for planning and engineering. We may be able to do something visual. We don't exactly know at this point what that will be, because we don't have the exact cost of engineering and planning. But this is the start. This is the Second Street Channel project, which includes some flood prevention ponds on top of the high school. Like I said, a lot of water comes from down there, and we're just trying to slow it down before it gets to First and Second Street, because here pretty soon, next year, we should be able to get close to completing First and Second. So we're trying to address the water issues that come down to First and Second. So anyway, I'm asking for your approval for this resolution that is accepting the funds that from the NMDOT for this particular project.
And our match, guys, is 90,000. Okay? Any other questions? Rick? Rick? No? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the resolution 2018-1593.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Councilor Lucero?
Yes.
Councilor Padilla?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, all you wastewater treatment guys are up now.
All right, Mayor, Council, thanks for having us today.
Oh, I didn't, you knocked it out. Dang it, Matt.
Standard. Well, anyways, we came to give you guys an update on the wastewater treatment plant, on the construction and a change order number 3. So this is what the wastewater treatment plant looks like today, going in construction. We're getting very close to startup. So I just want to give you a reminder of why we're even rebuilding the wastewater treatment plant, and then just kind of talk some budgetary numbers.
Let me tell you why. Because my wife chews my blood every single morning because of the stink coming out of that dang thing.
That is number 4. All right, so number 1, NMED has, the rules have just gotten more stringent over time, and the lagoons are not meeting total nitrogen and ammonia discharge limits. There has been some nitrate detected in groundwater wells, so that becomes a drinking water issue. The lagoons are pushing 30 years old, which was their design lifetime, so it's getting close to the time to do something about them. And then also, the lagoons over 30 years have just accumulated a lot of solids in them. So, you know, where it used to be 15 feet deep, now it's 10 feet of water. So it's time to do something, and as Mayor pointed out, it smells bad. So it's very hard to see on this present here, but this was supposed to be a schematic that looks great on my computer of the wastewater treatment plant that you can't see, so I'll go forward. You can see these different color lines. So even though we call it a wastewater treatment plant, we've got the brown is dealing with solids. So we're managing the solids and the liquids in this wastewater treatment plant that you can't see what's going on. this new treatment plant is going to be much smaller. It's, the blue box is going to be the size of this new mechanical wastewater treatment plant. Once again, I apologize for the site layout not coming up. But it's going to smell great. And, and we're gonna, yeah, it's going to do a great job for the next 30+ years. So, talking about that, we're bring this into change order number 3. Two of the things we're proposing is a septage receiving station. So the city of Grants has been receiving septage for the past 30 years. They're the main place to go from Albuquerque to Gallup. On average, you've been receiving about 2,500 gallons per day, up to 11,000 gallons. This doesn't sound like a whole lot, but just to put it in perspective, when this new treatment plant goes online, it's going to have a maximum of 1,500 gallons per day of septage. So otherwise, it's going to overflow the system. So the deal with septage is, you know, someone's got a septage tank, every 5 years they might get it pumped, and then it comes to your plant for disposal. When they're pumping it, they're not pumping the water, they're pumping 5 years of accumulated solids. So anything that's gone down the toilet or the sink ends up in the septage, and that's what we really want to plan and make sure we don't hurt the new Grants new facility. So for perspective, septage is 550 times stronger in terms of solids than just your normal municipal wastewater treatment, or more municipal wastewater. When we allow just the 1,500 gallons per day, that still is going to increase the solids in the plant by 50%. So that's why we're not taking this lightly. With that said, I don't know if this has been, I'm probably the first one to bring it up. There needs to be a cost associated with the septage. Just for everyone to see, I've thrown out at 25 gallons or cents per gallon. About 4 cents of that goes to the cost of rebuilding a septage receiving station. 5 cents of that is for aeration and operation maintenance. 16 cents of that goes to solids handling and trucking the stuff to the landfill. So, yeah, this picture over here, you can't really tell what's going on, but we were sampling out in the ponds, and we got about, I don't know, from me to Dawn to one of those buoys, and there's just so much stringy material, wet wipes, etc., that just has accumulated into this massive ball of muck, and it just clogged our propeller instantly. But that's the stuff that I want to protect the plant from. Okay, another part of change order 3 is this new headworks. The existing headworks, like the rest of the plant, you know, pushing 30 years old. It's gone through its useful lifespan. Just like the lagoons, the headworks create foul smells. Right now, the headworks is attached to the laboratory, so we are recommending that a brand new building just east of the existing building gets built for the headworks. This is gonna, you know, if it's a new structure, for the next 30 years, no one's gonna have to do anything up at the wastewater treatment plant. B, there's just inherently smells that since the two buildings are connected, the headworks and the operations, it's gonna be just kind of a much nicer environment for the folks working in the lab, just because as we build this new plant, people are going to be up there a lot more of the time, running laboratory samples and doing process control. And also, it will make the screenings management easier. So anything that comes up through the lift stations or is dropped in the septage tank or receiving tank goes through a screen. And this is to remove the wet wipes, any hygiene products, styrofoam cups, anything that was thrown into the wastewater from the prisons or jails. This new building will be much easier to bring a dumpster in and out, so that's another major benefit to this new building. Okay, kind of going into, so those are two costs that we're going to talk about later on, and now I want to talk about some potential credits that the city we're working on to save the city money. Okay, so one is a dewatering credit. Right now, so these lagoons that we talked about sludge. They've got 30 years of stuff that's in the bottom of these lagoons that need to be addressed. The original plan was to pump them out of the lagoons into basically these filter fabric geotextile bags, let the water kind of, you know, filter out, and then we're going to take these solids to the landfill. So I kind of told you two stories there. The first part of the story is how do we dewater these solids? And the second story is where do we put them? So we're working with the contractor to get a dewatering credit. So we've put an amendment into NMED to be able to dry this stuff in place over the winter time. So what we're proposing is pump the water off, kind of let it sit there, work it a little bit, try to get it to dry down to the required consistency to take it to a landfill or land apply it. And this has the preliminary cost savings of almost $120,000. And this could go up, but we'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. And the other potential credit that we're working on is instead of taking these biosolids, so you've got stuff that's been sitting up there for 30 years, it's probably what is going to be a great soil amendment. So we've got an amendment into NMED to allow us to land apply this for crop growth. It will be alfalfa at a local farmer's, local rancher's property. So why is the cost savings is the city is responsible for the tipping fees. So we've estimated there's about $310,000 that's going to cost to send this stuff to the landfill. So I mean that's a pretty chunk of money right there. If we can use this as a soil amendment to retain water and provide nitrogen and phosphorus to grow a better alfalfa crop for the local rancher, everyone wins here. So with that said, cell 1 will most likely have to be landfilled. If that happens, then there's a $200,000 opportunity for savings. And this picture's not showing up, but what it's showing, if you could see it, anything that looks out of the ordinary, those are all just pieces of plastic. So this is just what's accumulated in the first lagoon. We think that past the first lagoon, it will all be in great condition to land apply. All right, with that said, I want to kind of talk about these three different scenarios for the budget of what could happen here. So we've got the NMED loan, $16 million up top. How much money we spent on the wastewater treatment plant, a little over $15 million. The two change orders to date, $9,500 and $8,500. So Clay's done an excellent job at keeping the change orders down. So change order 3, this is the new headworks and the new septic receiving station. It's a change order, but it's actually building brand new things that weren't originally planned on. So we're looking at almost $800,000 with tax included. And we are also expecting a few other change orders. I don't know if Clay, you want to briefly talk about them.
Yeah, you bet. We're about 90% done with construction on the project. As it stands now, we know of got a couple of piping issues we're going to have to address, and we've got an issue with a hopper that needs to be modified as well. In addition to that, last time I talked to you guys, we were talking about how we're going to charge the septic haulers to come into the job site.
It's going to be more than 25 cents, I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, they're getting us.
No, it's going to be more than 25 cents a gallon. I saw what you had up there. That ain't going to work for me.
So Gallup charges 5 cents and Albuquerque charges 17 cents.
Well, they can drive all the way to Albuquerque and Gallup, dump the crap then.
That's your call.
You bet.
Yeah. So to manage that, we decided a few months ago that instead of trying to charge per flow, we're just going to charge per truck. So as part of the contract, now, the contractor is going to install automatic gate, but that automatic gate does not log any information on it. So you have to upgrade the information. You have to upgrade the computer on the gate. So you'll have a record of what trucks are coming in and out of the project. So we've got a small change order there. We've got some hand railing that may have to go in because of some grading issues we have out there to make sure the property drains correctly, and that's really all we have right now. Hopefully there's nothing else. 35 is probably very, very, very conservative, but like I said, we're only at $20,000 in change orders on a $13 million job. That's pretty, that's less than 1%. That's pretty phenomenal for a project this size. So that's kind of where we're at on change orders going forward.
Okay, and here's the 3 budget scenarios I was talking about. So up top, we have the biosolids land application plan. So once again, maybe I didn't mention this, New Mexico Environmental Department's preliminary approved it. It will go through the public comment process in the next couple of months, and we're not expecting any hang-ups, but that would be the only potential hang-up. So we've got the potential to save the city an additional $216,000. Okay, first let's just say the worst case scenario right here. If you approve change order number 3, and the new headworks building's built, and the new septic tank building's built, and there's a negative $343,000 number right there that we're going to go over budget. Because remember, we've got the tipping fees for the sludge. That was $310,000. Okay, so that's worst case scenario if change order 3 is approved. What we are realistically planning right now, conservatively, is we get the land apply, cells 2, 3, and 6. So you get that blue number. You still have to pay for cell number 1. And Smithco, the contractor, gives us a credit to not build the line basins for dewatering. So that's ends up being a $126,000 credit there. If that happens, the city still owes $36,000. Okay, here's the best case scenario, which we're working hard to get, is biosolids land application happens. We apply this biosolids to Mr. Elkins' land, and this dry in place dewatering works as planned. So that's just saying we're literally, we just let it sit there over the winter, it dries out, contractor's able to scoop it up, drop in a truck, they drive out to the rancher's property and land apply it. If that works, then the city has a contingency fund of over $500,000. So you can see there's this very big spread in numbers, and that's pretty much the main reason I want to come down and talk to you folks is, we're kind of coming to a head on how this is going to play out, and it could go very well or not great.
Well, it doesn't matter, we've got to have it. So, it doesn't matter. And my recommendation to the council is just to go ahead and approve it all right now. We've got to have that BART screen. We're not going to do it by hand. We're spending $14 million on this plant. We need to make it the best plant possible. That's why we're looking at doing the lift stations here real quick in the next couple of months. So that's my recommendation. Anybody else got questions? Cindy, you got any questions?
Yeah, why didn't we get a heads up on this? I mean, if you got a 20-plus-year-old headworks building in a year, what happened? It was fine, and then in a year it went kaput? I mean, why, when we're talking about $14 or $15 million for the treatment plant, why didn't we know this other information? Why don't we get it all?
I with you 100%.
All at the same time, so we know what's coming down the pike.
I agree, and it was an obvious oversight.
Now we're just stuck.
Isn't that part of the plan?
It is part of the plan, so.
So when we did this years ago,
It should have
part
been,
of the plan.
it should have been added on then.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those things, we were digging around and pulled something up and learned that it corroded to the point we were hoping that we were able to, the original plan was just to kind of fix it, add concrete, and then we realized that it structurally degraded the building.
So all that chlorine gas for years has been deteriorating the whole thing?
It's not chlorine gas,
No.
it's hydrogen sulfide. And
So
then
that's why we saw the pipes and everything else that we've had the problems with for years.
for probably up, In the pumping station areas? Yeah, it's a bear to deal with.
I've been through it and I've worked on some of the stuff that it just needs copper and everything else.
It eats everything.
Yeah, so we do need to replace it.
You know, Mayor and Council, can I add a little 2 cents in there?
You bet you, Les.
Is that we've been discussing this along the way, that the headworks, there is a possibility that if we rehab it, it would be second rate. Then the code has changed because everything has to be explosion proof in there, so the electrical costs just went out of sight. Then we said, well, if we put it outside like some of the other facilities, you know, I've lived here my whole life, I have seen 15 below pretty often. So we're just going to compound the issue. We have sprayers outside on screens at 15 below. I've seen 30 below too, but so by the discussion with all of us, I think the best case is to build a new building away from, you know, we don't want those guys gassed every day. I know it's going to cost a lot of money, but if we start cheating now, it's going to be a bad thing all along the way. So that's my 2 cents, and if you have any other questions, I'm ready, but Mitch and Clay, we're ready.
It was hard to foresee the future, but are we going to get any more surprises on
Not until we do the lift stations.
Yeah, the plans, I think we found all the surprises.
Not until we do the lift stations, Brett.
Yeah, I know it's under water under the bridge, but, you know, an oversight like that's pretty costly.
Yes,
you know?
it is.
And, you know,
But we're still under budget at this point, guys. We're still under budget on this project, even with doing that.
Oh, we need it.
Yeah, it's gotta be done. You know, and then like I said, we still got 2 lift stations to do that is gonna be coming up in the next month and a half, which is gonna be about another $600,000. Okay, but at that point, everything getting up to the wastewater treatment plant will be done and it will be all brand new. So that's a plus, okay? Now I got a couple questions, and no one else does? You got any questions?
That's not.
No, you sure?
Yeah.
How much are we putting in that thing right now? You say it'll only take 1,500 gallons a day.
Right now, you're on average 2,500 gallons per day.
How's it gonna work?
Well, you're not going to allow that to happen, so
So where's that crap gonna go? If it ain't going in the wastewater treatment plant,
Albuquerque or Gallup?
our people flush our toilets.
Oh, this isn't it, so, okay, sorry.
I'm talking about all of our pigs, Milan, Mount Taylor Addition, the city of Grants, we flush our toilets. I'll guarantee you we're putting way over 1,500
This
gallons.
is just the septic tank. folks.
Okay.
Yes.
That kind of, you had me worried there, buddy.
I would have been back. Get one flush a week, everyone.
You got me there, okay. That's basically, that answered my question. Because I'll guarantee you Milan says going back to us every day.
So Mitch, it's about 1.5 million a day is what it
Yes,
costs.
the plant's 1.5 million gallons per day. And yes, 0.1% of that should be septic.
So how are we gonna handle this as a motion, guys? Do you want to approve it with the change orders that ain't there yet? Or do you just wanna do the 783,000 plus tax? And then as the next change order comes, we'll probably have the lift stations ready then. And that would be my suggestion, is that we do this now and then the ones that Clay was talking about.
Yeah, that number I threw out was.
Yeah, it might change, it's conservative.
yeah.
So let's just go with the price of that Headworks building, the 783,882.
That's what this whole thing too.
Yeah, that's all of it.
complete?
That's it.
Is that right?
And it was, I included tax for you guys.
783,882, okay. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Mayor, if I might.
Yes, please.
The correct amount that I would recommend without tax is 669.
Yeah, no, I was looking at the taxes and all that good stuff. I'm trying to get it all at the same time.
That's fine.
Okay? Because I mean, if not, one of us is gonna have to sit over here and figure out what the taxes are to pay you anyway, right? So this way we don't have to. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Going once, going twice, guys. It's gotta be done. Going 3 times.
I don't see the taxes.
They're not.
You're not.
783,882 is the taxes.
we're just gonna do now is approve the 669,000.
Make a motion, however you want to do it, guys, I don't care.
And then to, without the GRT, which will be added.
Well, I make a motion to approve $669,747.59, excluding gross receipt tax.
Second. Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Councilor Lucero?
Yes.
Councilor Palia?
Yes.
Thank you, guys. You know what, one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
When we set that sludge out there and we're draining the water off it, don't tell me I'm gonna be smelling that in my house.
It's gonna smell for a few days, maybe a week or two, and then it won't smell.
And how often are we gonna have to put that stuff out there to let it dry?
Well, the plan is just to leave it in the lagoons right now and let it dry. And that's where you get the most cost savings. If they have to start bringing it out and doing other things, then you get the less cost savings. So,
Okay. Thank you. Number 6, resolution 2018-1591, acceptance of federal and state grant offers. See you guys.
Okay, thank you. Laura, you can come up there.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Laura, come on.
Whatever you want. Hi guys, good evening, council, mayor. I'm just here quickly to give you an update on your airport project. So I know last time I was here, we discussed this year's project a little bit. So it's a fairly small project at the airport. It's a pavement maintenance project just to maintain your asphalt that's out there. It'll be on the apron and taxiway. We're going to seal the cracks. We're going to do a surface treatment, and then we're going to restripe it. So just want to come here and give you guys an update. We did open the bids for that project. We received 2 bids. Both were responsive, so we're ready to move forward with the recommendations. So we're recommending to award the project to the low bidder, who is American Airport
Okay, hang on. That's number 7. Number 6,
Okay.
we're accepting grants
I
right now.
apologize. So actually,
You're all right.
if I talk about number 7, it'll kind of lead into number 6 a little better, if that's all right.
Maybe we need
Unless
to
you want
arrange
me-
them 6 and 7 next time, huh? Go ahead.
Unless it gets Dawn in trouble, then I'll talk about it.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so long
Mom
story.
is in trouble at home, not in the city. Okay, sorry.
Long story short, so we're ready to, so we provided a letter of recommendation recommending the award to the lowest bidder. And a part of that recommendation, we include the grant application. So it's already completed with all of the values so that you guys can receive your federal funding for this project. So if you guys read the recommendation letter and you're in agreement and you're ready to move forward, you can sign the grant application and we'll get it sent to the FAA so they can move forward and fund you guys with that money to move forward with the project. So leading into the resolution that will get signed tonight, we'll have that signed so that when the money doesn't come in, we don't have to take the agreement or the offer back to council. You guys, if you sign the resolution, you can just move it forward in the signature without having to bring it back in front of the council.
Questions? Cindy? Manny? Rick? Fred? Okay, let's do the resolution first. I'll entertain a motion for resolution 2018-1591, acceptance of federal and state grant offers.
I make a motion that we accept resolution 2018-1591.
Second. Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez, Councilor Lucero, Councilor Palia. Yes. Cool. Second one. The maintenance agreement number 7 for $107,631.25. We'll entertain a motion awarding that contract.
I make a motion that we approve the contract to American Road Maintenance for the amount of $107,631.25, excluding GRT.
Second. Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez, Councilor Lucero, Councilor Palia. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Number 8, fuel for the airport.
So in your packet, you have a purchase for $126,990 for fuel for the airport, and that's actually anticipated to cover most of the next fiscal year. So what we've been doing is approving it as we needed it, and it was really putting Ray in a bind. So he won't spend all of this at once. He orders it in about $18,000 chunks, and because he can get a better deal if he orders a full load. So this way, he's got his purchase order ready, and we're not trying to get it on the city council approved, and he needs his fuel. And of course, this is fuel he sells to customers coming through.
You know what, at that, it saves us money to have a whole tanker instead of just part of it. Well, I make a motion to approve $126,990
To Harbor
for
Oil.
Harbor Oil.
Second, Councilor Reynolds.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez, Councilor Lucero. Yes. Councilor Palia.
Yes. Number 9.
Number 9 is for the purchase of a security fence at the airport. And we are anticipating an award from, is it Aviation or
New Mexico, though.
New Mexico DOT? So our percentage is about 10%, 90% will be paid for out of the grant. So, but you need to approve the full amount, which is the top amount, $22,806.03.
Questions?
We will get reimbursed for that.
Why did we go to Gallup for fence? Is that, we don't have anybody here that
We don't
can
have
that?
anybody here that builds fences.
Well, we don't, and I know for Ray, and we even getting our gate at the MOC, it is so hard to get quotes on fencing and gates. Chris has done that, I've done that, Ray's done it, and you have trouble getting quotes too, right? Trying to get 3 quotes to get people in this area from Albuquerque and Gallup. Ray, do you want to add a little bit on that?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I solicited bids from Gallup to Albuquerque. The bids went from skyrocket to real low. People would come in, they would not follow the precise data for a bid. I would give them the data, they would come back with something else. We finally nailed it down to 3 bids that were viable bids. Of those 3, 2 of them were Albuquerque, 1 was Gallup. The one from Gallup, he also did some fencing for the museum, has a pretty good reputation, and his price, and I went back over it, I called him out at the airport a second time, I said, you're too low, I want to find out why you're too low. So we went over to make sure that he wasn't going to get us in trouble. And so my recommendation is that we go with this Gallup fencing, and keep in mind that it's important to control the access to the airport. Right now, everybody driving down the road, they can go out on there. It's a safety hazard. You get somebody out there on the runway sometime at night, even during the daytime if we're not there. So this will control the access to the airport.
Any questions for Ray? I know when I was a kid, we used to drag race.
I know, it's the same thing I just said.
I mean, till then, we'd see the lights coming and then we'd all boogie.
Hey, Ray, how many feet, hey, Ray, how many feet of this is fencing, and how many are gates?
We have roughly 600 feet of fence. I'm just pulling it off the top of my head. What we're doing is we're going to replace the fencing that as you come into the airport, there on the right, you'll see where it's been run into and it's leaning and bent. And then down there at the end of the parking area, the fence is fallen apart. The gate there is a mess, and so we're going to, so we're going to replace that gate with limited access. And then we're going to come from the museum property down to Carnu, then cut back towards the interior of the airport. And that part from the museum down, I think it's around 400 feet, something like that.
Because it says here, it's all 6-foot high security fence and gate curb.
Yeah, it'll be,
It doesn't really give you how many gates, how many feet or anything.
Be one vehicle gate, 20-foot gate is called a cantilever. And it will be with a card reader. We went with the card reader because if I go to a code to punch it in, within a week, everybody in Grants is going to know what the code is. So we'll have the card, and the card will be for all the emergency response people, for the people who have airplanes on the airport, and then we'll have others that we can use on a one-time basis for that.
I would like to see us do a little more informational about how many feet or how much things, or, you know what I'm saying? Because it just tells you what you're getting, but nothing else. I would like to see a little more description of what we're getting for our money.
Slap my hand.
I will. Thanks, Ray.
Any other questions? Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to Gallup Fence Company for $22,806.03.
I make a motion to approve the $22,806.03.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez, Councilor Lucero? Councilor Pagliacci?
Yes.
The state gave us our money for 2nd Street and for 1st Street. Okay, we got our money, so now we need to approve this resolution so we can move forward. Of paving that road.
I move to approve resolution 18-1592.
I second.
To approve it.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez, Councilor Lucero? Councilor Pagliacci?
Number 11 was actually the same thing.
Number 12, this one's mine. Flagpole right over here in Fire and Ice Park. To one of the veterans. I've spoken to the family that helped us put this stone over here in front of City Hall. They've given us the okay to move it over to this flagpole when we get it done. The cost includes flags. I had Donald call today and check with those people. They say the flags last about a year and a half, flying them year round. I think it's a great idea to finish off our little parks that we've got down here with our discs and our shield, our 66 shield and our caboose. But finishing the caboose this summer too, I think it would be a grand deal. Any questions? Mario, does this thing include standing the pole up, right?
Mayor, Council, yes, sir.
It includes everything, put it up, everything we need, right?
Yes, sir.
Any questions from the council?
I do.
Go ahead.
When this, no, not for you.
Thank you.
You can do that. When this colossal flag business started, an individual signed up and to speak before the council. The first words were, let me paraphrase, I have wonderful news. It's not going to cost you anything. Then there was some more talk, and then come to find out the pole was $30,000 or $50,000. I also then heard about, maybe some organizations might have some fundraisers to help defray the cost of the flag. My first concern is the flag is going to be, the whole point of the flag is to be seen from I-40. Using the American flag to try and get people off the interstate in the hopes that they'll come into the city to spend some money is not my idea of what you do with an American flag. My second concern is when something happens in the United States, governmental entities are asked to lower the flag. We lower the flag because we're wanting to support and solidify something that has happened. I want the people here to tell me how we lower the flag to half staff.
The same way you do any other flag.
This flag is how big? The
It's
pole
50
is-
by 80 and the flag is, the pole is 140 feet high. When you lower it to half mast, it still will not touch anything below.
The flag is not, I think the flag is 140 feet, but I think
No,
10
the
feet
poles.
is, the pole is 140
The pole is
feet.
140
And
feet.
how deep does it need to go?
In this particular case, we're not going with the deep foundation because you've got mud pipe and shallow groundwater in this area, so we're going to go with a large spread footing based on the structural and geotechnical recommendation.
Okay, so the flag is 80 feet. The pole is 140 feet, and it will be at half staff and it won't touch the ground.
Half staff is not all the way down the pole.
Well,
It's down the ways, yes,
Part of the way
and the
down.
flag will not touch anything below.
so we'll have an X number of feet.
Yes.
Okay.
No, we already went through all of that. We walked out there with tape measures and all that stuff. We walked around and did all that. And for me, it's not really about pulling people off of the freeway. It's about honoring those that have served this nation throughout this entire country, and those that have served that are not even from this country. That's what it's about for me.
I don't,
Go ahead.
I don't think, I know veterans need to be honored, and they should be honored, but I don't think veterans need to be honored and honored and honored and honored continually. You are a veteran, you always will be, but you don't need to be recognized every single day. You are a veteran, you have a life, you move on. And I don't think having the big giant flag is any more patriotic than having a smaller flag. My patriotism is measured in my behavior, not if I fly a flag or not. So you know how my vote is going to be.
Okay, Manny?
Okay, I got something. I don't have a problem honoring the veterans and the big flag, but I really would like to put it somewhere, like at maybe the Vietnam Memorial, where the people can actually see out the road, and it wouldn't interfere with any trees or any power lines or anything like that.
It'll interfere with the trains there.
Um,
And right here, it's only how much further from there to here, Manny? From I-40 to there is what, the width of Santa Fe Avenue.
I understand that, but I think,
And if we put it there, then we have to tear down everything that Harry did.
no, we're not tearing that.
There you go. That's why we're gonna put it here.
Isn't that the city's property on that area?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room there to put a big old flag like that we can go out there with not interference with trees or anything else.
Manny, we're gonna put it there. We're trying to put in an artillery piece down there too.
Okay, I understand, that would go real
So
good.
where are we gonna have the base to put it there? And then you're gonna have 5 flags and a great big American flag in one place.
Think that would look good?
I think it would look better right here in the middle of town.
I would prefer it on that side. By
You know,
the Memorial.
it's like I said, Harry has spent so much money down there. Harry's money,
Right, it was there.
not anybody's
No,
money.
I understand it was here.
And the reason that I want it put here
Mhm.
is because of the Field of Honor and because it's right in the middle of downtown, period.
Do we know, is it going to take any aviation approvals because of the height for planes flying by?
That is a great question. Is my engineer friend here? Tim?
We can run a 7460 on it. Just get me the location and we'll put it
The
in the
location's
system.
right here, Fire and Ice Park.
Yeah, yeah, we'll grab some. We could do that.
We'll send you a
do that
PNC
for you
file.
guys. We'll submit it to the FAA and they'll get us a, yeah, it's not a problem.
And so in the Fire and Ice, where are you
Thank you, Tim.
looking at?
Just a little ways back from where it is, from where the flag is now. Just a little ways back to where it'll cover the whole base that we need. Rick?
How deep is that hole you go? You said there was some malpie or water issues?
Yes, typically around this area, we see groundwater. We've seen it as shallow as 5 feet. The mud pie, we've seen it as shallow as 12 inches. So we're going to be conducting a bore at the location where we will put the flagpole, and that'll give us an indication of what we have to deal with on the ground. Today, before you, what you have is an estimate, a comprehensive project estimate of what we think, based on our experience working here over the years and the issues we have to contend with for construction. The structural engineering element, the cost is, I think, was like $2,900, including geotechnical, and then of course putting it out to bid. So that's an overall project budget. So again, we don't know what's down there now. Nothing's been done to date. We felt it was prudent to present the project budget for council consideration.
So your recommendation as far as the pole depth will come at a later date?
It will, but we can tell you right now, in talking to both members of our team, there's no way we're going down. We're going laterally.
Yeah, but concerned about the wind issues that we have here.
Exactly.
That height of the pole and the flag that is going to be waving.
And according to those guys over there, they haven't had any problem with it.
No.
At all.
I know you guys took that into consideration. I just thought that could be a safety.
That's what drives the foundation design, is a harmonic wave, low from the winds, and it's significant.
Fred?
Excuse me. I think that's a lot of money. I think we put that money better use in the infrastructure. But that's mine. Okay, building a roof.
Well, here's the way I feel about it. We approved golf carts the other day, okay, at a cost of $300 and some thousand. We have spent in this city over the last, what do you want to call the life of that damn golf course, $1.6 million on the golf course. Okay? I think a one-time cost to honor those that have served this nation and those that have their name on that stone over there and those that are buried out here in the cemetery is a very small cost compared to buying golf carts for the 50 or 60 people that play golf every day when the other people in this town don't. We put out 828 crosses this year. Next year it'll probably be 900. That's what that Black Bull is about. Period. That's what I've got to say about that.
I think both instances show pride within our
You
city.
bet it is.
You know, whether we're flying a flag, you know, here in our city, or buying new golf carts for a golf course, because we have such a nice facility out there, we should have a nice golf course out there. So, I agree. I think we should wave a flag out here in the city limits.
I agree with you.
I'll entertain a
To
motion.
show some pride. So I make a motion to approve $56,494.06 to Wilson and Company.
Second. Second. Second.
I'm for it. $56,000 doesn't bother me. What bothers me is, I think we need to put it out there by the Vietnam Memorial.
Manny, we're doing the motion for approving the money for the flagpole.
I'm so concerned about it.
Well, I mean, maybe you need to talk to Harry about that, okay?
No, I need to talk to the city, the citizens of Cibola, or our city. That's what I need to talk to.
So are you gonna make a second or not? Because if you don't, it's gonna die, man. And if you don't get a second and it dies, it's done. And it's not gonna happen. So do I get a second or not?
Like I said, no.
No second, it's dead. Gee, thanks, Manny, the veterans appreciate you, buddy.
I don't have a problem with the veterans, I just don't like the location.
Okay, the next one, let's go into closed session. I entertain a motion to go to closed session.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Let's go to closed session. Back into open session.
I make a motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, regarding the manager's evaluation, we will complete that at our next meeting in 2 weeks, and we will have a decision with what's gone down there. Of course, what is said in the evaluation will not be public knowledge. The only thing that will be public knowledge is what we give her. The second one is regarding the litigation with Milan. The reporters can stop by tomorrow and pick up a copy of that. I'll entertain a motion to agree to the settlement with Milan.
I make a motion to agree to settlement with Milan.
Second.
I second.
Council Reynolds?
Yes.
Yes.
Council Vasquez? Council Lucero?
Yes.
Council Palia?
Yes.
For everybody out there, that settlement is for $112,000 that they will pay us. 114, sorry, 114,000. And if they don't pay their bill ever again, then we can just shut them off. So from this day forward, no mayor will have to deal, no council will have to deal with Milan again unless they decide not to pay their bill again. But on that note, we now have an agreement that lets us shut them off if they choose not to pay their bill again. Okay. Comments from the council? Cindy Reynolds.
Then,
Manny.
None.
Rick. Fred.
No, sir.
Laura. I'll entertain a motion to shut this down.
Make a motion, to adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Oh, one more thing. In 2 weeks, I will have Mary Savacek, Cecilia Murieta, and Gloria Chavez for board appointments. In 2 weeks, okay? Yeah, she's a reappointment.
Reappointment.
Mary's the one.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.